Woo! Another day, y'all. Another day. Today, it's a new month. We're in February 2019. And I wanted to just pop in, do some sharing with you guys on what the last month has been like. I think so much, I don't even think I know, so much is growing and changing and like evolving quickly for me in my business, in my life. And I feel like I haven't done a true behind the scenes status update about like what's going on in Hawk Hustle headquarters, but like really what's going on, as the business owner, as the entrepreneur behind the business, and wanted to chat with you guys. So today I want to talk about the 4 P's of entrepreneurship. And I don't even know where to start right now. Like this 2018 was tough. And I've talked about that a bit in the business because 2018 was a year where I was really, really focused on repositioning my business model. And what I mean by that is for the first year and a half in my business, I was in straight hustle mode, meaning that I was just testing offers, creating a bunch of different offers, selling a bunch of different offers, like on straight hustle grind mode. And that hustle and grind mode hit its cap. I was able to get to a point in my business where I was able to quit my job and move into my dream apartment and get my dream dog, get involved in a healthy relationship with my boyfriend. Like all these things happened, but I hit my capacity on like my ability to hustle and grind the way that I was. So I made some very intentional and conscious decisions to like pivot in my business model. And I think for all of you guys, this is something that maybe there's like 5 P's to entrepreneurship, is knowing like the first thing, there's stages as you're evolving in your business and growing in your business where you have to have the agility and the courage to be able to pivot and do things differently than how you had done them before. So maybe there's 5 P's we're going to talk about today, but your ability to pivot. Last year was when I made my first major pivot in my business because I decided to look at my numbers, and I really cut about like 90% of the offerings that I had been selling before to just go all in and focus on one offer. And when I made this pivot, this is when I really decided to establish myself as an authority in one thing, like really owning the fact that I'm a beast and I want to be known for helping underperforming, consultants earning less than $5,000 a month who don't have a list, who don't have a large audience, package a 4-figure offer and sell it consistently using live stream video. And that's the thing I want to be known for. And I made that decision mid 2018. And that's when I did a full, not everything in my business changed, but I decided to pour the gasoline on the fire and go all in on that one thing. And that's the thing, my signature service inside of Services That Sell. That's the thing I wanted to be known for. That's the thing that I wanted to establish my expertise in. Really perfecting, teaching other people how to package an offer, how to position an offer, and how to use live stream video and sales calls to convert 4-figure clients. So that's the thing that I went all in on, and that making that choice to pivot, I think this is something as you guys are evolving in your business where you have to people say Jay, how do I become an expert? How do I establish myself as an authority? Before other people get an idea of who you are or what you do, or you're able to infiltrate their mind and establish a position in their brain, you have to first decide what it is that you want to be known for. And you have to pick the thing. And so often, more often than not, many of us, I know I was like this in the beginning, and you're probably like this right now, is that you're trying to be too many things to too many different people. You're scared and there's fear of you making this decision to say, you know what, this is the one thing that I want to establish myself as an authority in. And this is the thing that I want to go all in on and build my reputation on and build my track record on. Most people, the reason why they never get to a point where they're earning consistent revenue in their business without it feeling like this constant hustle and strain is because they are, maybe you have not made the decision to say, this is the thing that I want to be known for. This is the thing that I want to build my reputation on. And it's kind of like thinking about, are you guys familiar with a spork? Those utensils where it's like a fork and a spoon, it's a spork. I hate sporks. I hate sporks, mainly because it's a really, really crappy spoon. It's a really, really crappy fork. Try to eat spaghetti with a spork. Like, you will struggle. Try to eat a bowl of cereal with a spork. Like, I know I stab the inside of my mouth all the time. Well, I don't say all the time because I never use a spork, but I don't like sporks. And for you, you're probably trying to be a spork right now in your business. Like, you're trying to solve, like, try to eat a steak with a spork. Seriously, try. You will struggle. There's just, you might be able to eat cheap food with a spork, right? Like, you probably can eat Kraft macaroni and cheese with a spork with no problem. You probably can eat like applesauce with a spork with no problem. But try to eat like some quality calamari with a spork. The struggle is real. Try to eat like a prime like steak with a spork. Like, you will be pissed. Maybe the spork will be able to stab the meat, but more than likely, you'll probably break the freaking spork. And this is something that you, as a business owner, you have to decide to say, you know what, I'm not going to be a spork today. I'm no longer going to be operating my business, and I'm not going to be a spork. I'm not going to try to be the spoon and the fork for everybody's meal. You're going to say, you know what, I'm going to be the freaking butter knife. Like, I'm going to be the best butter knife in the drawer. I'm going to be the go-to spoon when it comes to like eating that cereal. Like, you have to, there's a point in your business where you have to decide that you no longer want to be a spork and just commit to, are you going to be the fork or are you going to be the spoon? Like, you got to just commit. And last year I made that decision on what I wanted to commit to and what I wanted to establish my expertise in. So I think that first P of entrepreneurship is you need to know when you need to pivot. Because there is going to be a season in your business in the very beginning where you're trying to decide and to establish what your expertise is going to be in. Like, you don't really, you may have an idea of the direction that you want to go in and the problem that you want to solve and the services that you want to provide. But it's probably going to take you probably working with a handful of clients before you know how you actually want to position yourself. And I think that's a really key differentiator. Is it'll take some time. I'd say normally like 3 to 5 clients if you're working with before you know how you actually want to position yourself as an expert. How you know, like, because once you start working with clients, you'll start to be able to get real data, not data that's just not fake data, which are like the thoughts that you just constantly have in your head. You have to go, like, you get data that you can actually make real decisions on through taking action and like engaging with real clients and through the form, like through the process of actually selling your service. Okay. So that's what I decided last year. And once I made the decision to go all in and said that this is the thing that I wanted, this is the thing that I wanted to be known for, and this is the thing that I wanted to establish my authority on, this thing that I wanted to establish my expertise in, next thing that came up, like the next thing that was very, I don't want to say challenging for me, but the next learning curve for me is that there's just a level of patience that comes when you decide to pivot. And pivot in a good way, because you're now establishing yourself as this core thing. But, you know, when I was making this adjustments in my business, I realized that I had to seek external counsel, meaning that I invested in coaching. I invested in a mastermind group. I invested in hiring new team members. Like I had to seek external perspectives and external counsel because I was stepping into a territory that was new for me. And I think a lot of the time, you know, if your business is not producing the results that you want, you're just missing information. That's all it is. Like, you're just missing information. If you're somewhere right now and you want to get to somewhere else, that gap is just a lack of information. And for you, it might be just a little bit of information that you need for you to make a tremendous, like, sometimes you may just need a little nugget, or you may need just one piece of information that will help you propel and get you to the next level. Or you may have a huge gap where you need a lot of information for you to be able to make the adjustment and get to where you need to be. But it's all about just having the right tools. And so I started investing, and I still invest. I'm always investing. But I think something that I really learned, or that really cemented for me in the past 6 months, is that when you hire a coach, or when you invest and hire an agency, or when you invest and join a mastermind, you should not be waiting to make, like, for the perfect coach or the perfect mastermind or the perfect consultant or the perfect freelancer to come by before you start making moves. Because this is something that I see all the time, where I see people in my community, or people will email me saying, Jay, you're the next coach I'm going to hire. Like, you're going to be the coach that's going to solve all my problems. Like, I can't wait to work with you. Which is, I'm flattered by it. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not like your savior. Okay. Like, I am not hiring there is no such thing as like hiring the perfect coach or hiring the perfect mastermind. It's really just like hiring somebody who you believe will be able to help you discover the informational gap that you have that can help you move to the next level. That's it. Because when you hire when you hire anybody, when you hire a coach, when you hire a consultant, even if you hire a team member, they can't do the work for you, right? Like, they cannot and will not do the work for you. And if you do hire somebody that does do the work for you, there's still a level of communication that you have to be able to provide to be able to give them direction so they can produce what it is that you want them to produce. But like, they can't, like, so there's still a level of personal responsibility that you must take ownership of at all times as you're growing your business. If you're hiring a new team member, there's still a level of personal responsibility that you, like, it's not like you just hire somebody and they come in and like unicorns start flying out of the windows. Like, no, you have to create, like, set a tone for your culture. You need to communicate clear expectations. You need to lead and coach and train that employee or that new contractor. Like, it's not like people say, oh, I keep hiring VAs and they all suck. It's not that they suck. It's probably just like you're sucking in your ability to communicate expectations and set parameters and boundaries in a way that they understand, and that you're communicating in a way that gets the results that you're looking to get. But that was just something that I had to keep reminding myself of this year, because I invested in, a high level coaching program that filled the gaps for me, that helped me figure out, now that I want to evolve and adjust into this type of business model, how do I actually start executing that? But as I was going through the program, and as I'm still in and I'm still going through the program, there will be moments where I'm just like, I bought this. Why aren't my problems solved? Right? Or like, I've been investing a lot in paid advertising, and I hired an agency to handle my paid ads. And I'm just like, why haven't we figured out the problem yet? Like, I'm paying you. Why are we still like not where I want us to be? And one thing that I have got to keep reminding myself is that just because, like, I can't pay my way to perfection. I can't pay for the results that I want to achieve. Like, that, it's not that simple. It's not like, I need a new pair of shoes, just go buy a new pair of shoes and you put the shoes on and it's done. Like, in a business, it's so much more dynamic than that. And yes, I hope this is making sense, but it's just that there's just a level of patience and persistence and perseverance that just has to take place. So like, one thing for me right now, I'll be candid, like the area that we're struggling, I don't want to say struggling with, but the thing that I'm learning right now is, up until this point in my business, I have only used organic traffic to convert clients, meaning that I was not running paid ads. I was not doing Facebook ads. I wasn't doing Instagram ads. I wasn't paying for leads. I organically grew my business, which is, I think, a beautiful thing, because that's just how we did it. So, getting to the getting to the multi-six-figure mark was just through organic lead generation. People sharing our content, people referring business to us, kind of word of mouth, grapevine type of effect. And this is the first time where we're using money to do paid ads to convert cold leads. So, running ads in the marketplace and getting people who don't know who I am to buy my stuff. And it's really interesting because my warm traffic, paid traffic, isn't really converting. Like, it converts organically, but not through paid ads. And through cold traffic, it's just not converting as fast as I want it to convert. And this is something where I had to sit my little butt down, and I have to continue to do this, because sometimes I know I'm not the only one that has done this, or that has thought this, that like, oh, I hired the expert, why aren't they just getting me my results? It is because it's not that simple. Like, it's not like it's Jesus himself, like, blessing something and then like, voila, the results come. It's just a level of, you have to do the work until it works, right? Like, you have to do the work until it works. And I think sometimes, I know for me, when this is why I have to like unfollow people on Facebook and like unfollow people on Instagram, because when you get caught up into this online business world, I think more specifically, I don't feel like traditional business owners struggle with this as much as at least I've experienced it in the online space. But in the online space, everybody's selling like, here's this framework, here's this little template, here's this blueprint that once you just apply it, everything will be perfect. And like, I'm letting you guys know right now that that's straight bullshit. Excuse the language. We're going there today. It's straight BS, because like, don't get me wrong. It is valuable for you to find a coach or an agency or whoever you hire that does have a proven process. But a process is not it's not a quick one and done fix. Okay. Like, so often I think, and I fall into this because as I'm evolving in my business and as I'm stepping into new levels of like, I'm just stepping into new territories in my business. Like I'm having to like, really show up as a leader in a larger capacity than what I have been before, which is scary. Like, I'm not going to lie. It is scary sometimes knowing that, just knowing that like my role is focusing more on how do I become a better leader and a better coach for my team versus me focusing so much on like the day-to-day of the actual business and being the first point of contact for my customers. Like my role in my business is evolving. And sometimes I know for me, I will like, you hire somebody and it's like, okay, like just give me the plug and play. Like I kind of want to play. I kind of want to like Mad Lib my business. Like somebody just give me the Mad Lib. I'll fill in the words and then I'll be done. And it's like, bruh, it's not that simple. So you have to do the work until it works. And you have to like, when I say do the work until it works, I don't mean like can run blindly. Like don't try to pull no bird box. Like don't just put on no blind and just start running. That's not what I'm saying. But you have to do the work until it works. And I think sometimes, I know for me, I set very aggressive goals. And I set expectations without, as I'm stepping into a new level in my business, I'm setting expectations, sometimes not fully understanding what's required to get that result. And then I'm having to check myself to make sure that just because I may not hit that result, or I may not hit that result in the time frame that I expected or that I wanted, it doesn't mean that we're not being successful right now, or it doesn't mean that we're not moving in the right direction. It just may mean that I had the wrong or informed information to make accurate projections about what the expectations were going to be, if that makes sense. So I think that's really important for you as you guys are evolving, as you are evolving into a new level in your business and you're trying to set goals and expectations on where you want to be. Just make sure that you are using accurate data and accurate information to set those projections, right? So I know for me, the biggest thing that we've been learning, or that I've been learning right now is, and this is just me being frank, I'm a woman of color. I'm Black, white, and Puerto Rican. Majority of my buying customers are women of color, meaning they're Black, they're Indian, they're African, they're Jamaican, they're from the Caribbean. And this is something that was a huge aha moment for me, is most of the education that I have received when it comes to me growing my business has been from white men and white women, okay? And one thing that I am learning is like there is a difference in how people of color buy compared to how white people purchase. And that's just the reality. Like I'm learning that. Like it never crossed my mind until this past month, where we're starting to run paid ads. And I'm looking around me, my coaching program, which is a bunch of white people. For the most part, it's it's majority of white people, whether they're male or female. And I'm like, how are they getting these results so fast with their paid ads to cold traffic? And why is it taking me longer to crack this nut? And like the aha moment is like, Jay, I don't know. This is just me being frank, y'all. Like, and this is something that I just think is a reality in the online space. Like there is a difference in how you market and how you market and how you run advertising to different demographics. And I think like in the real world, like if I were in corporate America, like duh, like, hello, if we look at the Dove commercial, if we look at, here in Bedrock, if we look at some of the advertising that happens where it's, you can tell there was not a person of color in the room when they ran that ad, and it pissed off all the minorities who watched it. It's like, that's just something that I'm learning for my own business. When I was in corporate America, I could see it in a heartbeat. Like, there are different ways that you have to communicate and run your marketing and run your ads if you're trying to appeal to a different demographic. And I'm learning now, like, that was so clear as day for me in corporate America, but it did not cross my mind when I got into my online business. I think because when I get into this online space, I don't know, I'm just, you know, I learn from the best. I learn from people who are killing it in our space. I learn from people who are doing 7 and 8 figures, and I apply the strategies they teach me. And that's the first part, right? Like, it's not to say that I'm not getting results. It's just that once I now apply the framework of what, you know, that's been proven by somebody else, I need to also be conscious to say, okay, how do I need to evolve, or where do I need to make adjustments or tweaks to make this framework work for me, work for my business, and work for my audience? And I don't know, I'm still trying to figure this piece out. But it's just something I wanted to share, because it never dawned to me that, like, the way that we run marketing and the way that we run ads may need to be different than what I'm learning from this predominantly white demographic, just because, like, we buy differently. Like, there's different things appeal to different demographics. I don't even know, but that's just something that I'm learning. And something that I'm trying to become more conscious of. Like, even when I make investments now in coaching programs, or even when I make investments in ad agencies, or when I make investments in team members, like, making sure that I am hiring individuals who are conscious of the culture that I serve is really important to me now. It's something that, like, I didn't really think about in the beginning. I don't know, it just didn't cross my mind. But I can definitely tell that is something that we have to be aware of and conscious of as we continue to move forward and scale the business. Because I don't know, I think otherwise it's just, yeah, that's just something I'm working through and working on right now. I don't know if that makes sense. But that's something that I'm working through right now from an advertising and a marketing standpoint. Now that we're using, like, money to generate leads in our business, or money as another form of us generating leads in our business, is how does that need to evolve and change? And just even being, like, recognizing, like I said, that the strategies that I'm learning from other individuals who are doing well, they have completely different demographic of buyers than what I have. So yeah, that's just something you have to be aware of. But I think that it's just a level, again, it's a level of patience, persistence, and perseverance that I have to be intentional on, because I know many people, like, if they were in my boat, they would have quit by now. They would have said, you know what, this doesn't work for me. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. And it's not about, like, sometimes we just give up too soon. And because our goals are not being met on the timeline that we set, versus, like, you need to do what's required, like, do the work until it works, and make sure that you're adequately budgeting that. So, like, for me, it's like making sure that you actually have the cash flow to test new marketing strategies in your business. Because it may take 2 months to get an ROI. It may take 3 months to get an ROI. If it takes 3 months to get an ROI, does it mean that the strategy didn't work? No. Just because I had the expectation that I was going to get the ROI in 27 days, it's not that it didn't work. It just means that I may have had misinformed information to project what my expectations were going to be of myself. That's it. So it's just important that as you guys are, you know, I know for me at this point right now in my business, it's just, I'm being very anal on setting clear boundaries, on measuring and tracking all of the metrics in my business. So I know what we're doing. When we find something that's working, we actually know what is actually working. And that when things don't work, we know what's not working. So we know where to pinpoint the problem area and make adjustments and make changes. But there's, like, so much of it. It's just, I just want to be frank, especially when we talk about paid advertising, is so many people think, like, I just start running paid ads, I can make a crap ton of money. And it's not that simple. Once you start running ads, you have to figure out what copy, what images, what ads actually connect with the potential buyers that you want to work with, that you ultimately want to convert. And that testing time takes time and patience and money, to be able to properly test. So, I mean, that's something that, like, you know, for me, I give myself like a 4-month runway and made sure that my business had the cash flow to sustain that. 4 months of just testing. Like, we're just trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. We want to know what ads work, what ads don't work, what copy works, what copy doesn't work, like what messaging, what positioning works for a cold audience, because that's a different audience than who I've attracted, you know, that I've sold to than what I have been doing up until this point in my business. And so often, many of us, as we're growing through our business, like, there's a level of patience that has to come with that. And as you're growing in your business, you have to give yourself time to actually test. You have to give yourself time to like test the positioning and see what works and measure that data before you say, you know, I implemented this and it doesn't work. It's like, bro, you didn't even try it long enough to even see if it worked. We can be so impatient. And it's like, we forget that, like, you are building a business, a like ever evolving, ridiculously dynamic entity that did not exist before it popped into your head and you took action on it. Like, don't give up so soon. Or like somebody said, well, I did a launch and I didn't make any money. This stuff didn't work. It's like, bruh, nobody knew who you were 3 weeks ago. Like, you need to keep going. Like, stop being so impatient. Like, impatience will make you poor, period. Impatience will make you poor. And there's just, you can't, like, you have got to have a level of patience as you're growing your business and persistence to keep doing the work until it works. Like, finding out, like, yes, follow a proven process and a proven framework. Because I'd rather start where somebody left off versus starting at ground zero, right? But then you have to learn how, okay, I've implemented this process, implemented this framework, and based off the data, I may need to tweak this little thing here or tweak this little thing here. And that's what, like, that's just what's required. Like, and you have to keep persevering. And I think the most important piece for entrepreneurs is, are you in a position where you are profiting? You, like, sales is like growing. Like, you have got to be earning money. You have got to be selling. Grant Cardone says this all the time. Like, sales is a contact sport. And if you are not making money, like, should be the primary concern of yours in the beginning stages of your business. You need to make money. Like, so often we have so many clients who come to Services That Sell where they had spent a year, 2 years learning how to make content, focusing on their branding, trying to make a pretty website. Like, they've made 15,000 opt-in offers, still ain't got nobody on their list. Jay, like, I've been doing all of this work. Why am I broke? Because you ain't sold nothing. You don't have an offer. You don't have anything to sell. Or maybe you have a ton of stuff to sell, but you have no idea how to communicate the value of that offer in a way that somebody else will understand, and you don't know how to close a conversation. You be throwing out all these seeds, but you don't know how to harvest the seeds. Like, you have got to learn how to sell. And, like, period. If you don't know how to sell, you ain't gonna survive in this world. You just not. You won't. Like, you have got to learn how to close. You have got to learn how to sell. You have got to learn how to create consistent contact so you can close and convert clients, so you can generate money. Like, people say, Jay, how do I prove my concept of idea? How do I prove the idea that I have in my head to see if it'll work? Go sell it. Go sell it to a stranger or even to a friend. If your mama or your grandma is the only person that says, you know, baby, I believe in you, and they're not even willing to pay for it, like, you have go sell the thing. That is proof of concept, is when you can actually earn money off the idea that you have. Go sell the thing. Like, yeah, you have got to be paying attention to your numbers. Like, if you have been in a position where you've gone the last 3 months, the last 6 months, and you ain't made no money, I mean, I'm just having that dramatic pause because I just want y'all to reflect on that for a moment. Like, you need to go sell. And so often, like, this is why Services That Sell exists, because I know most of you, you know how to serve, you know how to deliver results, you know how to support your client, you know what you needed, like, you know what your client needs, but you have no idea how to sell the thing. This is why you need to enroll in Services That Sell, period, because you don't know how to sell. And it's not a bad thing. Like I said before, it's just you may be missing information. Like, you just may be missing information. Follow a proven process. Implement the process. Package your offer and start selling the freaking thing. Let me digress. Like I'm getting hot because it's like you ain't got no money. You're not making no money, and you wondering like, why am I broke? You ain't sold nothing. Jay, I don't know what's wrong. I can tell you what's wrong. I can tell you very simply. You are not creating consistent opportunities for somebody to buy from you. Or if you are, it is very, very difficult to purchase from you. It shouldn't be that complicated. Like, and if you are using these like advanced or complicated sales funnels and sales tactics, and you can't even, I get that you may understand the concept because you're smart. I get that you're smart enough to understand how to create a sales funnel or how to follow somebody else's framework to put together a really complicated sales funnel with sales pages and email sequences and webinars. I know that you're capable of doing it. However, if you do not have the capacity to execute that strategy consistently and seamlessly, go find a simpler strategy that will make it easier for you to sell your services and collect money. Until you get to a point where you have the cash flow and you have the money and you have the capacity to apply more complicated strategies. But until then, don't do it. Why? Because you broke. Like, you're not making no money. You're not converting clients. You're not selling. And it should not take you 6 months to set up a funnel and write out the email sequences and the sales pages and all the things before you can sell. Like, and this is why services that sell is so powerful. It's literally 2 steps. Facebook Live, sales call, close. That's it. Ain't no emails. Ain't no blog posts you got to do. Ain't no websites you got to create. Ain't no sales pages you got to write. Ain't no copywriters you got to hire. Live stream video. Get them on a call. Collect payment. That is it. Like, focus on how you can consistently sell your services before you try to put together a passive sales funnel that you don't even have the full capacity or the know-how to even implement. Okay, let me digress. But these have been big things that I've been really learning over the past 6 months, is that, like, you know, I've been scaling back so I can scale up. I've been having to exercise a different level of patience. I've been having to, you know, just continue to do the work until it works, rather than like, oh, I've been doing this for 2 months. I'm not getting the results I want as fast as I want, so I'm going to quit. That's a bad mindset to have in business. Because, like, what if it takes you 6 months to figure it out? Is it worth it? Like, yeah. Like, I know once I crack this code, we're going to put gasoline on the fire. Like, my goal is to take services that sell to 7 figures in the next 18 months. So, like, who cares if it takes me, like, that's my goal. But who cares if it were to take me 24 months to get to 7 figures? Or what happens if it took me 2.5 years to get to 7 figures? Like, is that a fail? Like, no. It's just like sometimes we can be so impatient that we will like pull the plug before we've even really like done our due diligence to like do whatever's required to make it work. So yeah. Somebody asked a question that I surround myself with 7 to 8 figure earners. How did I connect with these people while I was still in corporate or after? One thing, like, I'm really glad you asked this question, because I think that this also ties in with this, is that I pay for access, period. I pay for access to circles and to people that I do not have in my regular sphere, in my regular environment. I pay for access. And I know recently I've heard a lot of people saying, well, Jay, like, why aren't more people being mentors? Why aren't more people like just, you know, sharing their advice for free? Like, why is it so hard for me to find a mentor? That mentor don't owe you nothing. Like, let's be real. Like, let's be real. Like, let's be all the way real. Somebody who's earning 7 or 8 figures, like, one, they're busy. They got their own objectives. They're on their own path. Like, they're doing their own thing. And just because they're not mentoring you does not mean they're not mentoring somebody else. But like, why should they just go mentor you for free? For what? Like, I'm not saying that free mentors aren't out there, but like, when you really think about it, like, there's different ways to get access to those types of people without it being paid. But like, at the core of it all, those people don't owe you nothing. Successful people don't owe you nothing. And like, it irks me because there's a community here in Detroit where they're just like, I don't get why the upper echelon of our city in Detroit don't give back to younger people here. And I'm like, it's not that they don't give back. They choose who they choose to mentee, they choose who they want to mentor to. But like, who are you? Like, why are you sitting here mad because they didn't choose you? Did you pay to get in the room? Like, it blows my mind, because I know people have been coming at me like, Jay, you don't mentor enough. Bruh, you don't know who I talk to on a daily basis. You don't know who I choose to mentor. And if I'm teaching you how to make money and that's my livelihood, and this is important, okay? This is important. If you are trying to find a mentor from somebody who makes a living teaching that information. So for example, my livelihood, the way I pay my bills, the way my dog gets fed and gets groomed, the way that, I live my life is teaching people how to sell. So if somebody hits me up saying, Jay, I want you to mentor me for free to teach, so I can teach you how to sell, I'm going to look at you like you're crazy. Why? That's my livelihood. Like, if I have a service that can be bought so you can learn that thing, you need to go pay for that access, period. Like, but I'm just saying that there's a sense of entitlement that exists from individuals saying, I want to mentor in this area, or why won't people mentor me? What are you like? Why should they? All you doing is complaining about how you ain't got no mentors. Like, go make moves, go shake something. Like, I pay for my access. I pay for access, period. Whether it's time or whether it's money, you pay for access. And if you think like, I call them my personal board of directors. I have about 8 or 9 mentors. Some of them I did not pay to have access to. Okay. So I do have mentors that, but I won't say I didn't pay. Yes, I did. Because I did pay to get in the room. I paid $70,000 to get an engineering degree to work at the company that I worked for. And that's what got me 3 or 4 of the mentors that I have. I paid for access. I paid for my education. I paid my time just to get into that company. And when I got into that company, I made it a point. Like, I was hustling. I was on people's calendars. I was having lunch. Like, I took the time to make sure that I was worthy of even being noticed. Average people are not good. Like, nobody remembers ordinary people. Nobody remembers average Joe Schmoes. Like, I spent 1.5 years at that company making sure that I was visible, that I was putting points on the board. So people could see that, like, oh, she's about her business. It will not be a waste of my time to have lunch with her. That is how I had access when I was in corporate America. After corporate America, I paid for access because I didn't know who to go to. I didn't have friends in my circle that were earning 7 figures, building a business that I wanted to build. And I, in this day and age, you guys all have access to mentorship. Like, so many of the people that you admire and that you look up to create free content, like crazy. People say, Jay, I'm waiting for you to be my mentor. I'm like, go listen to my podcast. Go watch my Facebook Live videos. Like, join my Facebook group. Like, I create a ton of content. I can be your mentor now without you paying me. Now, if you want to learn the exact things I teach on how to sell, you do have to pay for that framework. But like, that's just what it is. That is just what it is. So, and for me, it's like every mentor that I've had that's directly impacted the bottom line in my business, I paid to have access to that room. So I either paid to join the coaching program so I could have access to the caliber of people that would be in that program. I paid for the course or for the, like, whatever, the coaching, like I said, to have access to their brain so they could help me. I paid to have access to attend the conference or to attend the event. Like, I paid for my access, both in time and both in money. I'm not going to meet Steve Jobs accidentally running around the streets. Just won't. I mean, I could, but I mean, like, I'd rather, like, or Sarah Blakely is somebody I love. I paid access to attend an event that she would be speaking at. Like, a lot of my mentors, I paid access to be in the room. And then once I was in the room, I was intentional on building the relationships or building the connections. Or before I made an ask, I made sure to, like, and I invested in them. I'd buy their book. I'd buy their shirt. I'd buy whatever it was that they were selling so I could even get on their radar. And then I would intentionally put myself in a room that they were in 1 or 2 times before I made an ask. Like, Pay, like that's just it. If you want to be around a higher caliber of individuals that you currently don't have access to, one, you have access to the free resources that those people put out. Two, like pay to be in the room that those people are in. That's just the reality of it. Like that is just the reality of it. Whether it's one-on-one, whether it's in a group environment, like it doesn't matter. And so many people are like, well, I need one-on-one support. Like, why aren't you some special unicorn where you need one-on-one support? Half the time you don't even know what your question is. Like you can learn a lot by being in a group of other individuals. Like I'd focus on pay to have access to get in the room, whether it's virtually, whether it's in person, whatever it is, you pay for access. And like, that is just the reality of it. Like, that's just the reality of it. You pay for access in any world, in any environment, in any space. Like you pay to have access. So that's what I got for y'all today. That's just what's on my heart. That's what I've been working through. That's what I've been learning over the past few months. Yeah. So I guess I do want to leave you guys with an invitation that if any of you guys are in a position where you want to learn how to create consistent income selling your services using live stream video, download my roadmap to convert clients at jerishahawk.com/roadmap. It's a free PDF that will walk you through 6 simple steps that you can start implementing right now to actually make sure that your Facebook page is set up to convert. So go download that bad boy, jerishahawk.com/roadmap. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye, y'all.